Good evening, and welcome to Nightsky Sanctum, episode 21. Uh, this game is now as as old as no, it's that number of weeks old, 21 weeks old, just like a baby, measured in weeks and months. But it's becoming a big baby. So, good evening, everyone. Let's start by introducing our cast. We'll start with Morningstar.
Hey, hello, darlings. I am Morningstar, and I will be playing Elise, our Median Psyche, who, well, is really just here for a good time. And by a good time, I mean to manipulate and twist her way to the top.
That's the best time. Oh, we'll go over to Anya next.
Yeah, I'm Anya. I play Hollis. She is a gob baba. She is obsessed with all of her spirit friends lately. And yeah, I think she's going to focus on trying to build up relationships with them.
Nice. Over to Lilith.
Hi, I play Steph, the shape-shifting Nereid, or the fish person. They're currently reckless, haunted, and neurotic, so that doesn't make for the best decision-making abilities.
But does make for the best drama.
Heck yes.
And Zelwyn.
I am Azalin. I play Yarrow, who is a Satyr Arcanist, and sometimes she's a little mad, but it's okay. She makes the best of it. And right now she's a little reckless as well, so.
Nice. All right. And if I remember correctly, where we left off was we had just finished an undertaking. I think Yarrow drew down the moon for us, and the group hadn't had a chance to do any downtime because we were forced to end a little bit early. But we are going to actually pick up that downtime because Hollis detects a presence using her grimoire power of a fae that has appeared on the island. We can start there.
Okay, so I guess I will lead everybody to find this Fae.
No longer content to go it alone after
I
the
mean, I can if nobody else wants to go, but it's a Fae. That's exciting. They don't come to our island very often.
after all the issues you all have had recently. It's probably safer to go with the buddy system. Well, what you find is no fae to be found. However, you find a glass bottle with a message inside on your beach where you detected the presence.
Okay. I'm
Is there
gonna.
any gin in it?
DJINN?
Oh no, not that guy.
That would count as a fae presence, I think, in this game, but
Not the sort I want, unless they're going to let me have a wish, in which case I will wish for gin.
well, we know what you'll be wishing for later in the session. So, inside the bottle is a rolled up piece of paper, as well as an extremely fancy looking pen. Just jingling around in there. It's got a stopper in the top, and it looks like the paper hasn't got wet.
I'm gonna pop the top.
All right. As soon as you pop the top, you feel a force come up toward your face, and your ears start ringing. And then you hear a familiar voice, the voice of your banshee friend, telling you that this is a gift for you to help you make it to the floating market tonight.
Awesome.
And the pen rattles out next. It looks like it's made from a big piece of metal of a nature you haven't seen before, and a piece of cardstock that is an invitation. And it says, in very colorful lettering, with this invitation, Hollis and their guests are welcome aboard the Charm Cruise for a supremely relaxing stay. And then it has an area for signatures and an area for special requests.
No. It's been far too long since I've been on a cruise. Especially since the last time we were on a luxury liner, we were killing everyone.
Yeah, I think Zombie Horde was the last issue on a cruise liner.
I think Azaelin's or Yarrow, we're gonna definitely need some rubber hoof covers. If we're gonna keep our footing on that. I think Azaelin's or Yarrow, we're gonna definitely need.
Yeah.
So are these special requests like things that we want to find at the market, or like just I would like to have, yeah, like we want gin while we're there. Like what kind of
It
requests are
appears
we
to
talking
be
about?
kind of like a hotel, we accept special requests kind of thing. So if there are certain things that you want to see, like if you want M&Ms on your pillow or gin, that those things will be specially prepared for you. But you've come to expect that if this is a gift and it's related to the floating market, they should be able to handle some pretty decent special requests. So
Well, Jean's gonna need a titanium perch, or she's gonna burn some stuff down.
you don't have to worry about coming up with them now on stream. You can keep thinking about it, and you can always flash back to you writing down a certain thing in these special requests to make it happen in the while you're on the floating market. So
I know now that I certainly want champagne.
so let's maybe start with a tiny recap of what your experience with the floating market was the first time. I know Hollis, Elise, and Seth were there. Can you remind us anything that went on there, or anything that stood out?
We had to climb to a very tall like like a bird's nest to get to the banshee, which was a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
So I
apparently.
guess the request would be that everyone that we need to see is on the same level as us.
At least a ladder.
Yeah, or an elevator. Yeah, something easily accessible people. We also made friends with a person called the Butcher, who is that who no, is that who made my headband, or was that like the armorer person who made my headband? I can't remember.
I think it might have been the armorer. Yeah.
That makes more sense because it was kind of like a piece of armor.
Although I feel like the butcher very much outstripped, like extended way beyond what you would have expected them to be able to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, a number of large personalities there with very interesting, gigantic goblinoid bodies to match.
I just remember that Paulus did an insane WrestleMania with that split guy. 2 heads, like extra arms.
Yeah, it was a pair of twin cyclopses that kind of shared a body. So their bodies wrap around each other. And yeah, she ended up throwing both of them out of the ring of the wrestling match or sumo match, something like that, despite them being like 10 times her mass. So Yeah, judging by the colorful nature of this invitation, you don't think you're in store for quite the same situation as last time. Uh, the Banshee gets into your telepathic bond, so she is able to sort of broadcast to everybody. She tells you that these events are extremely high class, very sought after seats. They're not for the general public. You don't just find your way in to the floating market on days like this. You have to be invited. So
Patron is going to be so jealous.
Respect is the key. So
So does that mean there's going to be a lot of fancy witches with fancy artifacts?
there may very well be.
We should grab our platinum coins.
So does that mean there's going to be a lot of fancy witches?
See if we can't get them traded out for something a little more useful. We should grab our.
Can barely hear you.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
move a bit closer. Certainly worth doing. We've been sitting on for so long, not doing us much good there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that could be a special request. A Fey money changer.
Yes. Don't ask questions, Fey money changer.
Nice. Okay. So I figured you all could take some of your downtime actions on the floating market. If there's something you want to do before you go, you can go ahead and spend any downtime activities now. Otherwise, we could do the little setup for the floating market, and then you can determine. Maybe we'll just flash back to any downtime activities that you took before you got there. How about that?
Sounds quite sensible.
All right. So the Banshee speaks through your telepathic bond and tells you that apparently the theme of the event is the 1970s, and everyone will need to be in attire.
Well, silver lining, at least it's not the 80s.
She also says that they're very strict about breaking character, so you avoid slang that's more recent.
I don't know any 70s slang.
Is it offensive to call someone a jive turkey?
In the 70s, the proper amount of offensive, yes.
I think we'll just have to picture we're in Austin Powers.
Yeah,
Everything's going to be groovy.
That's the 60s, darling, and that would at least allow me to wear a shift dress. Goodness knows, what am I supposed to wear, May?
So you have about 6 hours to get ready before the event. But it will be on a major dock in Manhattan. So we can just cut directly there, and if you'd like, you can describe your character's style. When you arrive at the dock, you see that the floating market is not the rusted out cruise ship that you had seen previously. It is a gorgeous vessel that puts your cruise liner that you have with the Vile Legion to shame. There are lights strewn about all over every deck. There are hot tubs dotting the surface of the boat, and it looks like it's at least 3 stories deep within the inside of the boat. You can smell some of the most delicious food that you've smelled in years coming from the boat, and it appears to have gathered a bit of a crowd, although they're being kept at bay by velvet ropes. And there is a guard waiting at the entrance of the velvet ropes, and it looks like they're specifically looking for people who are dressed appropriately to come aboard.
Oh no.
So whoever wants to start.
It's called. I have it in my head.
This is, of course, the 1970s that included witches, so you would assume that having your natural heritage look is probably less frowned upon than it probably is today. Even less frowned upon, let's say.
I had to double check to make sure who I was thinking of was actually the right time period. I am going to wear that ridiculous purple and black striped outfit that Pat Benatar wears.
Which way are the stripes?
They're like a V meeting down in the middle, down the entire outfit with like flared legs. It's a ridiculously gaudy outfit, and Seth's gonna wear that in full fish face.
Nice.
And just like
Awesome.
rivers like tucked into the top where like it dips down.
Awesome. Do you want to be the first to board?
Sure.
Okay. The guard does not, well, I would say doesn't give you a second look, but they don't stop giving you looks as you walk up the ramp toward the boat, and they step back and admire you as you walk past, and you see that the whole deck above, all the other passengers that are up there are all looking down at you, admiring your outfit and your confidence.
Nice.
They're all dressed up as well, but they look like they're wearing costumes. You look like you're in the era.
Nice. Feeling groovy, flashing finger guns everywhere.
Elise is going to arrive, dressed in a one-piece red velour jumpsuit with bell bottoms and sleeves of matching volume.
Nice.
And a deep V to show off a little bit of cleavage. Oh, and of course a nice big chunky belt. One can't wear a single color jumpsuit without a nice big chunky belt.
Absolutely.
Yarrow's similar but sleeveless because she's got a nice big she's gonna wear a big furry jacket with hers, but I believe I sent over a picture of what she's gonna be in, and it's kind of similar with the bell bottom, but it's black because she does like to be darker, and with her fur coat as well is gonna be darker, but it's like the kind with like the big sleeves, like the big kind of poofy sleeves on it. So, and she doesn't need the big clumpy platforms because she's got her hooves. So, and the bell bottoms will help hide that too, just in case.
Nice.
Built-in lips.
And she doesn't need the big clumpy platforms because she's
Figured it out. Hollis is going to be wearing a Moroccan print caftan.
Can you describe a caftan? I'm not sure.
A caftan is like, it's a dress or a shirt. So hers will probably actually be a shirt since she's short, but it'll be a dress for her. It basically is like a big piece of material that's kind of folded with a head hole on the top. And it can be cinched at the waist, which hers is because she needs to have it pulled up a little bit so her feet don't get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the Moroccan print, so it looks, I don't know, I kind of have a hard time explaining what Moroccan print looks like. It's Moroccan print. I don't know.
Does that have like lots of triangles? Oh.
Quite appropriate.
Yeah. Kind of like those, yeah.
Azaelwyn's legs.
I will, yeah.
All right. Well, you see a couple of interesting characters all spread out amongst the upper level that you arrive on. And as soon as you're all aboard, they immediately start rolling up the ramp, and everybody up there starts to disperse throughout the cruise ship. It looks like there are probably only 15 or 20 guests, including you all.
Okay.
Jesus.
A slightly delayed echo. Testing, testing. All right. We'll listen out for it. Thank you, Junie. Even from the entrance, you can hear the sound of slot machines and the goings on of a casino. Inside, one level down, you can hear hot tubs bubbling away. And like I said, smell a dozen different types of cuisine being cooked nearby. And of course, you can take your downtime activities here. And if there's anything that you want to give me as a special request, we can make that happen as a scene.
I was going to spend all of my downtime actions acquiring an asset, a crossbow. I want a crossbow.
Nice. Yeah, I think that the crossbow might be trying to think if that would be an easy thing to get on the ship, or if we might want to do a like a flashback too before you got on the ship to get your crossbow. Because you're not seeing any of the giant goblinoid creatures that you were used to from last time. However, if you wrote that down as a special request, there's a good chance it might be waiting for you on your bed.
Yes, then I will have done that.
Okay. Can you roll 2 dice? Started drawing down the moon from last week.
Is it a fortune roll?
Yeah, it is.
I got a 6.
That's fantastic. Okay. Are you all going to check out your rooms first? Or is there another place you want to head?
Seems like as good of a place as any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all 4 of you are given rooms. Sorry, couldn't hear you there, Morningstar.
Yeah, I just said I'm quite eager to see my suite.
All right. Yeah, all 4 of you have rooms on the same hallway, 2 on one side of the hall and 2 on the other side of the hall, on the top level of the under deck. And you seem to have, if not the biggest rooms, you couldn't have imagined them being bigger. They even strike you as possibly being bigger on the inside than they could possibly have fit in the ship. And they conform to your expectations to a degree. So some of the things that if you had your mind read only for the nice things that you wanted, this sort of surface things, some of those things have already been taken care of for you.
You mean like a jetted
Goodness.
tub?
Right. Exactly. Jetted tub, gin in whatever state you prefer it in, and so on.
Do we ever have to leave this place?
A mud bath.
Zeph and River are totally down for sharing a mud bath.
Then it's there
I'll
waiting
take my
for
own
you.
bath.
Yarrow, did Yarrow bring any books to study or anything?
Yarrow mainly does. She does have some books with her, but she's feeling a little mischievous for this trip, so it's gonna be fun. She's a little bit more mysterious. She brought this kind of bag with her that nobody really. It's clinking here and there. Nobody really knows what's going on in there, but it's just hanging out and on her side. But mainly, she's looking to just take a couple little downtime actions in her room just to recover a little bit more from that fun little last excursion.
Okay.
Because I think I definitely need to restore some more willpower and essence at this point.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. Anya, do you
Mhm.
want to? You said you you requested a small crossbow, like a hand crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you get into your room, you find some of your favorite snack foods on a tray, and sitting on top of a beautiful gold thread lined pillow is a hand crossbow that when you pick it up, it seems like the grooves in the handle are made for your fingers.
I'm gonna try to find a way to attach it. I don't know, holster it somehow.
Start make some leather straps.
Yeah. Steal some of this gold thread out of the pillowcase to stitch all my stuff together.
All right. You also, every one of you finds a very, very fresh fey fruit upon your pillow.
Ooh, nice.
Certainly nicer than mint.
Absolutely. All right. So, what other downtime activities do people want to take? Anya, that didn't count as a downtime activity. That just takes one off of the special requests ticker for you.
Okay.
And you said our downtimes could have been before we got on the boat, or they have to
Absolutely.
partake on the boat.
Yeah. Could be before.
In that case, I'd like to use both of mine for further study on my artifact for
Okay.
my hackstone, because that way I can make use of Quinn.
Okay. Great.
Sorry, I thought I wrote it down last time. What do I end up using for my downtime as my study?
Yeah, you get to choose the action that you want to roll based on where you are in the process. You are studying what again?
I had 2 wheels. I finished my study wheel, and now I'm on the building portion of
Okay.
my Tier 3 hagstone.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, you did the invention process, and now you're doing the crafting process. So this could be actual crafting rolls. It could be focus rolls. It could be further study rolls, though that time has probably passed. If you had other ideas, we could entertain those as well.
I like the idea of focus. So, like, really kind of honing in on what the energy is going to be for making use of this. So, I'll try that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So if you want to roll that as a fortune roll. That'll tell us how many ticks to knock off that clock.
And with Quinn, I get an additional dice, right?
Yep. Actually, Quinn can't help with a focus roll because
okay.
Quinn is a safe.
Right. Got it. Okay. Mixed result: 5, limited, partial, or 2 ticks.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be 2 ticks. How close does that get you?
I haven't started the build wheel yet. I just finished the study last time, so that's 2 ticks out of my 8.
Awesome.
So I'll use my other downtime for that as well, I think, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Doing okay harm-wise, so I might as well just double down on this.
Oh, no. All right. That's a complication. So what that might look like is you might have to restart the process. You might have had some kind of magical mishap. You could have channeled maybe the wrong kind of energy into the device and ruined one of the pieces. Anything like that. Or you could take a level of harm and continue the clock. Or you could just treat it as, well, it's a little worse than no progress. So it'd be like no progress plus some harm, no progress plus some infamy, no progress plus some fey bargain, that kind of thing. Whatever makes sense based on how you want the complication to happen.
If we do it so that way I ruin a piece, would that get rid of all of my study wheel as well, or just the 2 ticks I got on my build wheel?
Yeah, just the build wheel.
I'll just do that then, I think. I think that's the
Okay.
easiest thing. I'll do something.
Are you playing with your autofocus?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my. Oh, there it goes.
There,
it's fine now.
In. Interesting.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was just trying to figure out what you were doing there. You flagging me down?
No.
So yeah, do you want to describe to us what that looked like, your mishap?
I think Seth is so intent on holding these tiny hagstones that they just squeeze it a little too tight and it shoots across the room. And they lose track of their progress because they have to go digging under the bed and looking in the sheets and trying to find it in the carpet, and just essentially lose all their momentum on what they were doing.
Yeah, you're holding all these enchantments on all these different stones, and then one stone goes flying off, and you just drop the enchantments and to go look for it. And when you come back, you're like, "Oh, I have to start over."
Now I really need a mud bath. I'm all stressed out. Very not groovy.
Yeah. Elise or Yarrow?
Well, I guess I can do the rolls to restore willpower and then restore essence. I need to do one of each because I'm even after drawing down the moon. I'm pretty. I was maxed out, so I think that's pretty good to restore a little bit more of that before this. So let's see.
Willpower is a therapeutic situation, and
I think Yarrow is just going to take advantage of a nice in-room jet whirlpool tub, and because she's got a migraine, probably because she does not have the will to go on from that. So she's just gonna relax a little bit and relax the migraine, and in her whirlpool bath, she's just putting some nice rejuvenating herbs and oils in there, and
nice.
She's gonna give herself a nice minty bath.
All right. We'll see how that goes.
I think that's insight or
So the lower of your insight or resolve.
Let's
attribute.
see. I believe resolve is my lowest, so that's at 1.
Wow.
Well, though. We're starting off the rolls good. I don't know if I wanted the good rolls for my downtime.
Be effective.
Would that be a full restore of the willpower?
No, that'd be a critical, but it is. I feel like that's 3 ticks.
Okay.
A critical is 5 ticks.
Which helps. That helps so much.
Right?
And then for restore essence, which is good because I have 2 ticks up in focus for that, I think she's gonna actually take advantage of the fact that she has a phoenix that will help restore her essence and get that down a couple ticks. Cause she's like a little rebirthing machine over there. And Jean is nice and perched on her titanium perch in our room, so she's able to assist. And she's been comfortable with me lately. She's a little over her needy spell, so. And I think I have 2 in that, so. Partial with a 4.
Okay, so that's gonna be 2 ticks.
Yes.
Right. And if you do those as fortune rolls instead of action rolls, it'll tell you the number of ticks. But yeah, no
Gotcha.
worries.
Thank you.
All right. And Elise?
Well, my highest priority is dealing with the fact that there's still a hole in my lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they are equipped for any such treatments on the ship. Otherwise, I certainly would have done so before we even
Right.
left.
Yeah, their ship your ship doctor is a 4 dice healing machine as far as that goes. So, and you get to meet the doctor. So,
I'm eager to meet this doctor. Because I'm certain that they will be more efficient than 4 witches with no medical training and a first aid kit.
yeah.
Because I'm certain that they will be more efficient.
Yeah, you can roll 4 dice.
Is that a fortune or just a regular roll? Fortune. That is a 6.
Yeah, I was going to say, watch us get 4 ones, but 2 ones on 4 dice.
Thank goodness there was a 6 there as well.
Yeah. Okay. That is going to heal a level 3 harm completely. And I think everything under it as well. So I think their magical healing is going to bring you back to full.
And since I just so happened to have unlocked Healthy Glow last time, let's just
Ooh.
pretend that I developed the ability to heal myself through this highly effective healing.
Nice. Yeah. So you meet the ship doctor, a surgeon, and also a witch named Margaret Chung. And she's a good foot shorter than you, but she is very good with the needle and surgical thread.
Thank you, Maggie. Now I can get back to doing what matters in life. And right there, in the doctor's quarters, I pull out a cigarette. Attempt to light it.
Yeah, this is actually the game that Anya and I made. So, to discussing with chat, Children of Midnight Coven is a tabletop role-playing game Anya and I have co-written, and the campaign that we're playing is Nightsky Sanctum. That's the name of the coven, but we have gone in a vastly different direction than the Nightsky Sanctum of the book. They are treasure hunters, and we abandoned treasure hunting about 3 episodes. there's still a little bit of treasure hunting, but it's been more arson, and I think we actually dropped treasure hunting from the list of favorite undertakings. But yeah, so it's sort of a written campaign, but more so we're just going wherever this version of Night Sky Sanctum takes us. Think of it as the four of them are in the driver's seat, and I'm just the car.
The car with bat wings and a water cannon.
In this particular instance, yes, I do have a few accoutrements. Okay.
It's a more stylish card with that one Sif turned into.
In Forged in the Dark games, you have factions, and that drives a lot of the action. So, yeah. So that a lot of the interactions come with what the factions are doing and how that impacts the Coven, and what the Coven is doing and how that impacts the factions. So the factions are kind of the only pre-built thing in the game, and even that, there's a whole lot of spur of the moment alterations that go on.
Like the red cap.
Yeah, the red caps were kind of a one-off thing, and then they turned into their own faction. So.
They tried to sacrifice our children to Krampus.
Yeah, and that would not have happened.
Can you imagine if Krampus had actually taken them, though, with all their elder god worm spawn? That could have been really bad for Krampus.
Yep. Okay. Was that at least everybody's first downtime action?
Technically, no.
We were still, yeah, that's right. Hollis still has more. Did we educate what happened with Elise's 4-die fortune roll? That 3 ticks on.
That was the healing.
Oh, that's right. Excellent. Okay. Hollis, do you want to take a downtime activity?
Yeah, I would like to regain some essence. I'm a little short.
Well, you can't help it.
You are a gob, darling.
Take it, I was going to say.
Short on essence.
All right. What is your situation? Are you gonna? It's nighttime on the ship.
Yeah.
All right. What is your situation? Are you gonna? It's nighttime.
I don't think of something like death related that she could do on the ship.
So many lost at sea.
Yeah, that's true. I guess she could just go out to the deck of the boat and look out over the ocean and use her grimoire ability to just kind of look over all the dead spirits
Ooh, I like that.
floating, swimming in the ocean.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Try to pinpoint, Davy Jones' locker. There it is.
Definitely off the coast of Manhattan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like constellation searching, but souls in the ocean.
Nice. All right.
And that will be a what kind of role is that?
I'm sorry, that was restore essence?
Yeah. Is that a resolve roll?
No, that's focus.
Just a focus roll?
I think so. Or it might be one that you get to choose the action.
I mean, focus seems kind of like what I'm doing. Just a focus roll?
I think so. Changeling cat? Getting some looking for group action in the chat.
I got a 6.
Awesome. For a fortune roll, that would have been 3 ticks.
Okay.
Yeah, I can provide a link to our Discord. We can facilitate running games online through our Discord, and provide you with a bot to roll dice and things like that, if that's helpful to any of our viewers.
We like to be helpful.
We've written all these tools to make all this stuff happen, come to life, and it would be a shame not to share it. So
Don't say we, it's you. You're the programmer.
well, I wouldn't have anything to program if it wasn't for the writing and the creativity. But enough kitten pawing each other.
Sure.
All right, yeah, I'll put that in chat during our next break.
That's pretty good. It leaves me just 1 essence spent, so
Oh wow,
that's more comfortable.
great.
That's pretty good. It leaves me just.
All right. Anyone else have downtime actions? You also all received a fey fruit, so you can use those if you need to take additional downtime action.
I think I'm gonna leave my willpower spent. It's not. I'm only missing 3. But it would be super fun to trauma out on a Fey cruise. So we'll see what happens.
You'll wake up, they're feeding you little baby shrimp. Touching your feet.
It's like feeding grapes, except instead of coming off of the vine, they just come off of their tails.
Well, I'm in the same boat as Hollis. I only have 4 willpower ticked off, so I really don't want to waste a fruit on just that. So
Sure.
I think I'm good. I'm not gonna use my fruit this time. Well, I'm in the same boat as Hollis. I only have 4 willpower.
I have a second downtime, and I have no idea what to do with it. I suppose we could flash back to the Coven, and I could utilize it to start the process of acquiring more bullets.
Yeah. Or you could have make that a special request if you'd like.
I don't think so.
No.
I think I'd rather do that the old-fashioned way. I feel like the Fae are useful for things far beyond bullets. I think I'd rather do that the old-fashioned way.
Okay. Acquire an asset is not too terribly difficult to do. It's the amount you're able to receive is based on your Coven's tier, which is currently 2, and then based on the type of whatever you want to, whatever roll you want to make as far as receiving it. So if that is you going to people and asking for assistance, or providing some services to someone so that they will part with some of their precious bullets for you, that kind of thing. So it's completely up to you how you get them, but it doesn't cost any money or anything.
You do it the old-fashioned way. Use the one I have left to hold someone up.
You just ask nicely.
I suppose I could try, but I've never been one to do that.
You just ask nicely.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm trying to think of what a good faction would be. You might want to look through your list of allies and your Coven allies. I think the Scarlet Incarnation would probably be a decent and source of bullets, and you do have an in with them as you have a personal contact.
Would probably be a good idea not to threaten them.
True. House of the Ram could also probably provide you with bullets.
I think I would likely ask the House of the Ram.
Okay.
I mean, you could just challenge somebody to a 70s like dance battle.
I'm not going to disco dance.
I mean, you could just challenge somebody to a 70s like dance battle.
Dressed for it there.
It's not very radical of you.
So once you've determined where you're going to get them from, you can just make the roll. And that'll tell us how many 6.
I will attempt to get them from the House of the Ram.
Okay. I think you have an ally there, so +1 die to the roll.
So would that be 3?
It's whatever roll you're doing. So if you're using consort.
I see. Well, then yes, I believe consort is the most likely one.
Okay. And you can do that as a fortune roll, because that'll tell us the ticks.
It's a 5.
Okay. So that is going to effectively increase your, that is Coven tier +0. So your Coven tier is 2, so you're able to get a total of 12 bullets from them.
Well, bullets, my goodness.
Without an issue.
Well, that's certainly more than we had before.
Yeah, that if at this rate, that'll last you past episode 60.
Well, now that I have 13, there's no reason to be so sparing.
Yeah.
But a perfect number.
A very good one.
We're going to need a Western gunslinger Elise.
You saw that cowboy-hatted man who ran off to the casinos earlier. Maybe you could win his hat from him.
Shoot it right off his head.
Did you bring your gun and bullets aboard? You could
No, because
later.
there's no way that it would fit on my skin-tight jumpsuit.
Gotcha.
When I'm wearing a gown with a slit, at least I can strap it to my leg. Can't really do that in a jumpsuit. Not discreetly, at least.
But remember, if you do need it later, you can always do a flashback to how you got it aboard the boat. We could do the same thing with, like, Hollis's broomstick or anything like that, if we need to. All right. Any other downtime actions? We'll try to rush through the last of them.
I'm good with mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then you guys can all just hold on to the extra Fey fruit, and if you need to take any additional downtime actions later, feel free to consume the Fey fruit. So let's take a quick break here. I'll get the information to the chat, and when we come back, we will be aboard the boat and getting your very interesting special requests taken care of. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Nightsky Sanctum, the charm cruise. And everyone has found some time to relax on the cruise before they all go out to meet and mingle with everyone. And we're going to do some little flashbacks to see what people wrote down for their special requests. Let's start with Azalin. And
Well, I would very much like a special pair of glasses that would make all the valuable little treasures glow. And don't forget my rubber hoof covers. Those are important.
Nice. For stealth. Yeah.
That, and I don't want to fall over on this boat.
Oh, yeah. Slipping and sliding. Okay.
That's what I'm
So
going with. Wink, wink.
you find the rubber hoof covers in your closet when you check into your room, and the pair of glasses that you find is tinted a almost neon green, and you put them on and you don't see anything, but you're not really looking at any powerful artifacts. Did you bring any with you that you could test it out on?
I still have my necklace.
Ooh,
But we don't know what it does.
And if you're across the hall, all I have to do is just look right across the hall and see if I see a nice glow.
Yeah. What did we determine what tier it was?
We know nothing about it as far as I'm aware. That's actually, I haven't even moved it to the new character sheet.
All right. Yeah, it seems to be working. You see a magic item that you've noticed before, that you've been itching to get some more information about, but it never leaves Elise's sight because it's too nice and too pretty. But yeah, you can see it, and it definitely glows with some considerable power. You feel the back part of the glasses where they're above your ear. You feel it kind of pinch inward as you're looking at it, and then the tension eases up, and you feel like there was power radiating through them when you were looking at it.
All right, so it seems like the pressure of the power puts pressure into the glasses, so that's useful to know. Maybe the more powerful an item, the more
The
pressure.
more of a headache you get.
Yay! Well, I'll have to keep some ABBA going, so I keep jiving the whole time.
All right. Hollis, was there a special request you've made?
Yeah, so Esme was the gob that had been murdered by the Destiny Research Group. And I reached out and talked to her spirit while we were there. And she kind of tagged along back home and followed us because we took some of her body and buried her in my graveyard. So she's kind of been hanging around and we've developed kind of a connection. So I'm going to ask for her to have a body for the evening. Her body specifically back for the evening.
It's good that you specified because
It's the Fae. You never know. You need to be specific.
exactly. You might as well be making a deal with the devil. Yeah. So as soon as you finish getting settled in, and you have, I think you did a recover essence or willpower.
Mhm.
As soon as you finish with that, there's a knock on your door, coming from lower than you would expect for any of your allies and coven mates.
He's going to run to the door and throw it open.
All right. You see a gob that stands about 2 inches shorter than you, with a twinkle in her eyes, but also a confused look. And as when you open the door, she was kind of leaning on it, and she stumbles inside and falls into your arms.
Catch.
Absolute catch. She smiles up at you and says, I don't know what happened. I was floating around your coven stead looking for you, and now I'm here in the middle of the ocean.
I got us this one night.
Oh, a concierge met me in the hallway and said, I have another room that's full of outfits, so I'm gonna go get changed. Do you want to do something?
Do I want to do something? I'll go with her to get changed.
Okay.
We can have coordinating outfits. It'll be fun.
Matchy matchy.
All right.
Just make sure they're still appropriately themed.
Yeah, they definitely gave her a 70s wardrobe.
So much suede and fringe and denim.
All right. Did Seth have a special request?
I think because Seth and Ribert have been buds since the end of time, but Seth really can't communicate with Ribert. So they have no idea what's up, and they kind of have to do Seth's bidding all the time, or just kind of regardlessly helps the group. So I think it would be nice if Ribert got to anthropomorphize for the night, kind of have a personality, have a conversation, and be like, do you even enjoy this? Kind of along with the ride.
They'll also
Going
get
to get the ethics of our familiars.
Mm-hmm. And they can live the high life at least for a day. In here. While you're doing your downtime activities, Ribert is in the mud bath with you, and you can describe what Ribert turns into as he gains a human form.
I think it's going to end up being something similar to how Seth looks, except big goiter frog neck and long spindly arms and legs with knobbly elbows. It's going to end up being weird blotchy fingers with the still frog kind of suction pads.
Okay. So people are going to think he's your cousin or something?
Yeah.
All right. The two of you go from, a large tub filled with mud and a frog and a person to two full people laying in said bathtub, and your legs get all entwined as he tries to hop out of the tub, and
Mud's all over the hotel room now.
yeah, sprays mud all over the wall, and and you hear him speak for the first time, and the first words are, "Thank you for thinking of me."
Yay. No problem, little buddy. That's probably condescending.
Yeah, considering he's like 7 feet tall, hunched over.
Yeah. I'd like to imagine this whole time like he's lost control of his tongue and it just flicks out every once in a while.
Elise, special requests?
My special request is to have a handmaid to take care of menial tasks for me, so I don't have to get my hands dirty.
Okay. You hear a rap on your door just as soon as you have finished tidying the last bit of your new outfit. And when you reach the door, there are 3 people there that have wait staff uniforms on and say that they are all here to do your bidding.
They knew how high maintenance at least one wasn't going to be enough.
Yes, one set there wouldn't be enough.
One of them is specialized as a clothing and bathroom attendant. Another is specialized as a sort of walk-around chauffeur, and the other is a qualified bartender.
Very important. The bartender can go and make me a martini.
Produces one just as you ask. From behind her.
Good girl.
Right. And you can hear some additional commotion out in the hallways during all of this as the casino has finally opened and people are starting to move into that area, as well as the late dinner hall. The casino area seems to be where you would be able to do some negotiation as far as trading in any of the things that you've brought with you.
The money changers.
Or we could risk it all.
Yeah, they'll definitely take trade as far as for gambling purposes.
Yarrow starts to hang to the back of the group and she starts fiddling with the glasses.
Uh-huh.
So she's starting to just fiddle a little bit while everybody goes ahead of her. She's kind of glancing around the room, just seeing where she can go around the sidelines and shadows.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to make a fortune roll? And we'll see what kind of information you gather there. Go ahead and just do 2 die. So exclamation point 2G is what I'm getting at. A gather information roll. Oh, wow.
Again, I think I'm getting all the good rolls out ahead of time. Oh, no. But 6, that's nice.
Nice. So these glasses are already paying off. So you look amongst the crowd, and there are 4 people in here that don't appear to be employees of the ship. One gentleman is wearing a 10-gallon hat, and that 10-gallon hat is absolutely registering as magical to you. You see various pieces of jewelry that also are standing out to your glasses. You feel the pinch get a little bit tighter as the glasses push into your the back of your head behind your ears, and you can mark 1 Fey bargain point.
We're getting close, but
None of this. Mm-hmm.
that is useful. But sorry, that was all I had to say. It was just useful.
None of the staff seems to be registering with any kind of magic, even though they're obviously used to dealing with it.
Okay. So we just have a couple undercovers running around with some fancy little hats. That hat really interests me now.
Yeah, so he's sitting at the blackjack table, and he has quite a pile of chips in front of him.
Ooh, I bet you that is a fun little cheaty hat. Now, how do we get this hat? Because now I kind of want it. I see a pretty hat and I'm like, that'll look good on my horns. And I feel like a couple of us could use a fun little gambling experience with that hat.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way I can craft a dummy one?
Craft a dummy hat?
Does Yarrow wear a hat? Do they put it on their head, or do they hang it up on an antler like it's a coat rack?
Oh, it is gonna hang off of one for sure.
There is a power for that called, I think it's called Lesser Creation.
I do have that.
You do? Oh, awesome.
Yes.
In that case, yeah, that's a 1 essence expenditure, and then you would determine what you want to roll for that, unless it says focus, because I can't remember. You determine what you want to roll for that, and that would help us figure out how closely it matches the other one.
Well, I would guess I'm gonna roll craft because I do have a lot of points in craft anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'll just was it just a 3?
Well, do you want to? So I would say, having seen it from a distance and knowing some, a little bit about its magical properties is definitely something.
Mhm.
But if you want to know it better, you might need to get closer to it and get to inspect it a little more, because maybe you won't get any of the details from the inside of the hat right.
Yeah, can I use my grimoire sense and see if it has a resonance, like what the resonance is?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just call that a freebie. It definitely has some grimoire power resonance on it. It's definitely a artifact made by a witch.
Ooh. All right. So I think I'm just gonna try to get a little bit closer, and just so I think I could figure out, maybe pinpoint exactly what grimoire maybe they're working with, so I can put a little bit of a resonance on it if I can, to trick it a little bit longer, because I want to try to get this hat and maybe tuck it into my bag, because I have a fun little Hermione bag going on here.
Yeah, let me think about that for a second. I think it's eclectic witch.
Okay. Okay. I think as far as when I get closer, I've already figured out like the color and all like that. I think I might have enough to try to do my craft roll.
Sounds good. So we'll do this as an action roll, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be at lesser reduced effect to start out with.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. Well, it's a partial success out of 4, so I've got like
okay. Yeah.
I've got a Party City hat.
Well, no, I still think that's you've got the exterior pretty much perfect. Maybe it's just not going to quite sit the same way on a person's head, or need some extra adjustment. But as far as like the bulk of it goes, it'll pass for that hat. Just upon closer inspection, it might not be perfect. But let's see, for the reduced effect, or for the partial, let's see.
It can be itchy.
Yeah,
Man, it should be made out of wool anyhow.
yeah. You're like, his head looks toasty. Maybe this has a wool lining on the inside. Yeah, I think as long as nobody like really takes a good gander inside the hat and can like compare the two, as long as they only have one of the two, nobody else besides the person wearing it would be able to tell a difference.
Well, I feel like hopefully, is he drinking, or can I notice if he's been drinking or not?
You do notice that he has the same drink that he started the night with. He keeps putting it to his lips and then setting it back down.
It'll be harder to trick him if he's sober. It's like, I have the decoy, now I need the plan.
You also notice that there is a younger gentleman sitting right next to him. And despite the fact that they're sitting at the blackjack table, the other guy is like facing him and cheering him on, and he's absolutely his biggest cheerleader. And just watching everything he does, he's mesmerized by the man in the 10-gallon hat. So
it looks like we'd have a witness to deal with too. So I think what I'm gonna do is just hang back and I'm gonna wait for the opportunity. Just wait until he gets up to go to the restroom or something. Until he gets up from the table, and that's probably when I'll decide to do something.
Nice. All right. Anybody else?
We can always create the opportunity, darling.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of the best way to go about that, especially in the middle of a crowded casino with a really good fan following him.
Yeah. Or
Well, one of us could sit down at the blackjack table. Perhaps attempt to catch his interest. Propose a rendezvous.
would that be Elise?
I mean, this does seem like a useful beauty and charm.
And then we can have a little bit of fun with this hat.
All right. Well, as soon as you sit down, the dealer looks at you and looks to see what kind of chips you put on the table, if any.
Yes, I suppose we should change for chips first before we sit down. Unless they're willing to just take this faith route as a barter right up without any change.
Yeah, they'll do that if you slide it forward. The blackjack dealer puts his hand over it and sort of covers the fey fruit, and when he removes his hand, it's turned into 10 chips.
Handy.
The man in the 10-gallon hat who tips his hat and looks at you as you sit down and says, "Cal." Do you?
I extend a gloved hand towards him.
You just go
Give
right,
him my name, Elise.
you go right over the head of the person who's cheerleading, and he reaches up and grabs your hand and shakes it. Even though your hand is held out like this, he grabs your fingers and shakes them like he's shaking your hand. And you can tell he has no grace whatsoever.
This event wasn't as exclusive as we thought. I didn't say that out loud. I was just thinking.
He nods and miss, and then turns back to his chips. He has about 300 chips in front of him. And he wagers 50 on the next hand. So that's the way he does his greetings. Apparently, he tries to show off by wagering higher amounts than one normally would.
That'd be quite a high roller. If we don't take it up, I can think of a few other things we could probably take. Well, I'll bet every chip I have. All 10.
Okay. On the hand?
On a hat, yes.
Okay.
You could have your drink specialist spill a drink on him.
Well, we have to started first, darling. A little bit of rapport.
All right. You want to do, unless you are cheating, then that's a 1 die fortune roll.
Sure how I would cheat this.
It'd be pretty difficult without some setup or a flashback or something like that.
So I will indeed just do a 1 die fortune.
Okay.
It is a bad result.
Okay. So
Went over.
yeah, you bust, and he sits on 19. The dealer, however, gets him with a 20 and takes all 60 of the chips at the table. He looks over his mate that's sitting next to him at you and nods, and then his friend grabs what looks like roughly 50 chips and pushes them over to your side of the table. And he tips his hat again and goes back to the game.
What a gentleman. So, Cal, darling, what brings you to this event?
This casino only opens one night a year, and they take things that other people won't. He kind of waves his hand over some of his chips, and when he pulls it away, it's like a whole bunch of sets of keys. And then he waves his hand back the other way, and it turns back into a big pile of chips.
He robbed a key party.
I own a few car dealerships.
Oh.
Is he betting with cars? Oh no.
So one fey fruit is worth 10, and he's got like 100 sets of car keys. So
We're going to have to rob this man blind, aren't we? It's not really an option. It's the only practical thing to do. Well,
you hear a dinner bell from the other room as they open the dinner hall. The man in the big hat does not move.
well then, I will, holding my drink, sort of gesture my head slightly to someone, with the rest of the group, vaguely.
I think you also
Actually.
still have telepathic bond.
Oh, well, that's perfect. Then I will telepathically tell one of them to come bump into me rather noticeably.
Considering Yarrow's probably the closest from looking, she's been noticing what's going on. She kind of glances over and pretends to trip on her hooves and, oh, I'm sorry, Lise. I didn't mean to.
And as I'm knocked into, my martini will fill in Cal's direction.
Okay.
I don't know if that would require a roll to spill a martini effectively, but
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do a Coven fortune roll, Coven tier fortune roll, and I'll give you +1 die if Yarrow is spending 1 willpower for an
Yeah,
assist.
let's go ahead. We'll see if I bump her the right way.
We'll see if this gives you just the right opening.
oh my goodness, it's a 3.
Okay.
I'm not even good at spilling a drink.
So I think what this looks like is you telegraph the move just a little too much, and the gentleman between the two of you jumps upward and puts his shoulder up, and the drink spills directly against his shoulder and back, shielding the other guy from your drink. And
Wow.
despite the fact that it happens that way, he hops off of his stool, and he seems apologetic, and he runs off to the bathroom to go get his shirt dry. But the high roller says, I'm gonna go ahead and head over here, and he takes a seat 2 more stools away from you at the end of the blackjack table.
Well, this just got a little harder. Well, at least we're down a witness, though. We
Yeah.
don't have the fan witness.
And you see a woman in a tall woman in a slinky dress walk into the room. It's covered in sequins, and she walks over and takes the seat that is now empty between you and the man in the tall hat. She turns toward you and reaches out a hand. Valentina.
Extend my hand back to her and shake it ever so gingerly, as one must do when one is high society. I say, Elise.
She matches your tone and your gentle touch.
In truth, I'm wary about us making too much of a row here to try to steal this hat, darlings, because this place is heavenly.
Trying to wreck the things that you love because it's fun.
Do you have any other plans to try to get this man in the red hat? Or big hat, not red hat.
So I was thinking I would have a Ron fly through the room and plow into the hat and knock it off of his head so you could do the switch.
That is a great idea. I could just kick the hat. I'll have my bag on the floor. We'll act like I dropped it when I knocked into Elise, and we can kick the hat into my bag, and then I'll have the decoy one just toss it out as soon as it knocks on the floor. That can be the plan.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay.
Bird. Here we go. Bird plan.
Bird plan.
Bird plan.
Herbert and Seth are across the hall just gorging themselves on like cocktail shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, watch this, Esme. This is going to be ridiculous. What would you like me to roll for this?
Let's see. That sounds like it might be a spring.
Okay. I have one of those now, so that's cool. I'm going to spend some willpower to
Okay.
get it up a die.
Okay.
I got a 6, sorry.
All right.
5 and
Okay.
a 6.
Your part of the plan goes off exactly as you described it. Iran comes from a position that they are unseen from and flutters down and kicks the hat directly off the gentleman's head.
I'm going to run in after him and scold him for being a bad bird and be super apologetic and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. The hat goes flying off his head, as does his toupee, which is tangled up with the hat.
Well, we're
So
going to find out that it was actually the toupee that was magical all along, and the hat was just a red herring.
Oh no.
I could hear Anya laughing from a whole room away.
So I guess I'm gonna have to do a little bit of fancy trying to separate it out like real quick. I take my 2 hooves and try to like grab it real quick while I'm kicking. So do we want to maybe just see if I can like pull that off? Would that be like a finesse?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Which works because I have 2 in there. We'll see if I can finesse it. Oh no, I do not.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
so he just now has a missing toupee. I'm just gonna roll with it, and if we're going with it. It's gonna go in the bag with the
we could do a resist to see if you can get it back to only that bad, because I think it might get worse. So, you hit the floor and you try to swap the hats, but for a split second, you basically have both hats sitting on the floor. He might not be looking, but you're going to have to disentangle them. You could do a resistance roll, I think, insight, if you want to resist that occurrence, or you could withdraw and try a different action, because we're still in controlled.
I think I'm just gonna resist it because I do have 3 in insight, so we're gonna try. Hey,
Nice.
we success that one.
All right. So maybe an onlooker spotted it, but the man the man no longer in the big hat does not. So I think the yeah, just the man. The hat and the toupee become disentangled, so he's going to have to pick them up separately. But yeah, you have his hat now.
All right, well, we're switched out, and he just has a little bit of extra shame at this point, so
Yeah.
that's rocking for that. So I guess we'll just have to watch him pick this up in shame at this point.
Yeah. So I think he thinks that the bird flew off with his toupee. So he picks up his hat and starts stomping over toward Hollis. And he gets out one raised voice word before all of the employees turn toward him and point at him and say, "Is it time to start the conga line?" And he stops dead in his tracks, pulls his hat down over his head, and turns and walks back to the table. And then all the employees turn back to what they were doing and go back about their business.
What
Are
is
you threatening him with a conga line?
This must be like an eternal conga line.
Is this the Hotel California?
Such a lovely place.
Something does feel very old about all this.
Well, you see his sleeper agent, and that's his like turn off phrase. Go back to your table.
So
Valentina seems very amused by all of this.
I think to help this poor guy out, I reach into my bag while he's yelling, and I just kind of toss the toupee back out onto the floor. So oh, there it is. I found it.
It was under your chair.
It was just right under here. It's blended into the shadows.
Okay. Yeah, that's a freebie for sure. I think Valentina saw everything, and she's loving it. So
Lives for the drama.
yeah. A couple more people, just as the room starts to quiet back down, a couple more people walk into the room. You get a goth-looking young witch who walks in and takes a seat at a table in the back of the room, just sitting with her back against the wall, watching everybody. and she comes in with another person that looks like they might be like her bodyguard or chaperone. And he comes.
Interesting things here. My goodness. I don't know where to start with everything. But I'm going to share that little chuckle with Valentina while she's giggling about everything going on. Or whatever she's doing.
She reaches up and kind of flicks back her hair while the two of you are giggling together, and you see ligature marks around her neck. And she notices your eyes flutter down to her neck, and she covers her neck back up with her hair.
Tempted to ask, but that would be quite the faux pas. Goodness
Maybe
knows I don't
after
engage in those.
maybe after a couple of drinks. So, do Seth and Ribert want to make an entrance? After they've gorged themselves on shrimp and everything else?
I think they're probably gonna avoid the table and go over to where Hollis is. And what was the name of the gob that we've given a body to? Esme.
Yeah.
So it's
First
like,
time
yeah,
you've seen her.
Rivert's got a body, Esme's got a body. We'll all hang out.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
You two might have even written down your special requests like at the same time, like, oh, hey, while you're doing that, that sounds like, yeah. So, yeah, you all sit down at the table together and kind of give each other mental high fives. What's Esme wearing? And what's Hollis wearing, for that matter?
Oh, she kept the caftan
Okay.
because that's cool.
Yeah.
Very appropriate for her as well.
Yeah. She kept the caftan.
Okay.
Because that's cool. I feel like she probably would have gone with like a high-waisted velvety bell-bottom type pair of pants and like, you know, a peasant top kind of top. Yeah.
Okay.
Threw some flowers in her hair.
Nice. Yeah. So she's sitting across the table from you, and the two of you are looking at each other through the flame of a candle that's burning in the center of the table. And she's like, hey, you remember when you set XYZ on fire?
I'm like, I set a lot of things on fire.
Yeah, but when you set XYZ on fire, that was really good. She says she can't believe that that her other friend was able to set all of this up. This is so far outside of the realm anything either of them did when they were alive.
Yeah, special occasions.
Yeah.
These are the sorts of special occasions we need more of. Fancy dress, endless food, alcohol, and gambling. What would be better? Oh, and stealing from men. Rich men.
Cal.
I should find my banshee. Since that she's the reason that we're here.
Yeah. I think she told you when she was communicating with you all that she didn't have the power to come to be here. She can't manifest here.
Okay.
Due to other forces that are at work in the Fey market. That's why she had to manifest in the crow's nest last time.
Okay.
She can't make it easily aboard. So,
So what is going on with this market?
Now, why
Yeah,
don't they
this is-
like her?
this is a very different market than you remember from a few months ago.
Are we
Much
becoming
prefer this
cult
one.
hunters?
I missed both of what you said.
Well, I was
Morning.
saying, did we become cult hunters? Because it's almost what it's turning into.
Yeah.
It is the Fae, darling. We expect them to be a bit weird.
Yep. So you see the goth-looking woman in the back of the room has snuck some drugs out onto the table while her bodyguard's back is turned, and is proceeding to do them.
I'm
There.
gonna do this. So she knows I know.
Uh-huh. Is
What
that
drugs are we talking about here? Talking about the sort you use a little credit card to make it
Yes.
nice little lines.
She's
Maybe
making
I
a
should go
credit
make friends
card
with her.
transaction. She's making a small credit card transaction.
She seems lovely.
Let's see. Do any of you follow like sape mortal pop culture at all? And do you think any of your characters would?
Elise would, because she tries to pretend she's one of them.
Okay. Can you make a 2-die fortune roll?
Four.
Okay. You don't remember any of her stuff or any of her work, but you do recognize the goth girl in the back of the room as an artist by the name of Cookie, musician. Very young, very exposed to the world.
Not old enough to be
Very
making credit
susceptible.
card transactions.
I mean, I don't know if there's an age cutoff there, but it definitely seems it definitely seems worse because she does seem so young. Her image here on the boat does not match the image that you've seen on billboards in Times Square. That's for sure.
Well, that and if she's goth right now, was there that many? Well, I guess there was a goth scene in the 70s.
Yeah,
But does she stick out like a sore thumb compared to the rest of it?
she does stick out a good bit. You can tell whoever styled her made an attempt to merge her goth style with something, some 70s attire. There's a funky collar, but yeah, she definitely has an air about her that she is breaking the rules to a small degree.
All
Or
black
larger.
overalls just covered in like safety pins and studs.
Yeah.
She seems like she'd be fun. I don't know whether to stay here with Valentina or to go try to make friends with the minor celebrity.
Valentina keeps waving the person dealing the cards away as he keeps requesting that she ante up if she's going to take a seat there. And she keeps telling him, just wait.
Yeah, we're all providing to entertain.
I'm going to just put all my chips that I was given by Cal in.
Okay.
Now, while Elise does this, I'm gonna go ahead and just like nudge the bag over to Elise. So basically the hat is within the vicinity of Elise. Maybe
We
we
don't
can
necessarily know that it's of any benefit, but
it might, if it helps, it helps. I'm just like, well, it helped him. Maybe if I tuck it close, it might help. We don't know much about it right now, but
You want to reach your hand in and stick your hand in the hat and see if it helps?
yeah.
I'm actually going to
Elise.
slip
Oh,
my.
I was like, I could put it in there to get it out.
Going to be a bit more subtle. I'm going to slip one of my shoes off
Okay.
and attempt to slip that into the bag from into the hat. If it works on my hand, it'll work on my foot.
All right. Let's do a 2-die fortune roll again.
That is a 6.
Okay. You definitely feel some power coming through the hat, though you're not getting a strong idea of where it's going or anything. How much do you want to? You said you were gonna put in all 50 of your chips.
Might as well.
Okay.
If I win, I win big. If I lose, I was given the medal.
All right. Yeah, let's do a 2-die fortune roll.
6 with the last one, so this is going to be a 1.
Oh,
It's a 5.
Okay. You tie with the house, and you're going to need to decide whether, well, I guess you'll need to draw another card to see if you can beat the house. You're both on an 18. So, do you want to press your luck and try the hat again for another card, or do you want to remove your foot from the hat and try it without it?
I'm going to press my luck with my foot in the hat.
All right, 2 more dice then.
That's 6.
All right, you get a 21 right on the nose, and you win back 100 chips. The hat is getting really hot on your foot.
Then I'm going to remove my foot from it and try to slip it back into my shoe.
Okay. No problem. Azalin, is Yarrow going to pick the bag back up?
Yeah, she's
Leave it
gonna
there?
go ahead. Yeah, she's gonna grab the bag, just get it out of the way, just in case something else happens. We don't need anything catching on fire, I guess, at this point. So let's snatch the bag away a little bit. What do now? I have a
Occasions we
question.
don't want fire.
If a Fey fruit turned into Chen chips, do these chips then turn back into Fey fruit? Can we like exchange them back in the same fashion?
I think that would be probably Elisa's prerogative to try if you'd like.
Well, I think we've done quite well, given that I came here with the equivalent of 10 chips, and I think it's worth cashing out rather than pushing further.
Okay. Well, the man waved his hand over them to the right, turned them into chips, and when you saw the other man, he waved his hand over everything to the left to turn it back into car keys. So
I shall attempt to wave over them to the left and see what they turn back into.
okay.
Might be khakis, might be fey fruit.
Yep.
Might be more
alright.
hearts or toupees.
Yeah. Let's do a 4-die fortune roll. That's the house's fortune roll.
That is a 6.
All right. The table fills up to your hand with fey fruits. 10 fey fruits.
Well, hopefully we can find someone who can change tokens now, because I don't want to carry around for
Yeah,
10
that's
fey
enough.
fruits.
Yeah, that's enough.
Why can't I hold all these lemons?
That's enough to knock most witches out. I think if you shared them among everyone, everyone's already holding one. So, and there are 4 of you. So 2 times 4, 8. So that puts you 2 over what you can all safely hold.
Doesn't Euro have like a bottomless bag? So whatever they have can't be
Yeah, but if she's carrying the fey fruits, they still count.
I will
Once-
give one to Valentina and one to Cal.
Okay.
He was kind enough to give us the chips.
Yeah. Sounds
So
good.
how many do each of us have?
If Elise is sharing, then everyone has 3 now. 1 from earlier and 2 more.
How many do each of us have?
I'm willing to share.
If any of you carry any more fey fruit than this, you'll start taking penalties on resistance rolls from the sleepiness, that the drowsiness that these cause.
Could we just go put them in our rooms and leave them there until we're getting ready to leave, and then get drowsy on the way home?
It's not super safe, but as far as places go, it is relatively safe. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to hold on to them, and if we get any more, then I will drop some off in the room.
Okay.
I'm going to walk over towards Cookie and offer her a fey fruit and tell her that it's a little bit more potent than that mundane garbage she's doing there.
She looks at it and is like, I've tried those before. They knock me on my ass for like 3 weeks, a month. I don't like them.
Well, I suppose that's true, darling. That's supposed to be part of the fun. I must admit, between the two of us, I do tend to go for that mundane garbage that you're doing right there. So
Her her bodyguard looks down and he's like searching the table for any evidence that she was doing anything she's not supposed to, but doesn't turn up any evidence.
It's all tucked away at this point.
Yeah.
So what brings a name such as yourself onto this boat? I certainly didn't expect to see anybody of, well, any renown here.
Well, basically have all the money and nothing that I really want to buy. And so I've been turning to increasingly less mundane things to try to keep my attention.
You tried arson?
Say it again?
Have you tried arson?
No,
I highly recommend it.
but it does sound pretty mundane to her.
Have you tried arson?
The way you all do it is definitely not.
Bit more mundane than the whole poisoning nuns with Jesus blood.
Do you tell her?
Perhaps we
Do
should-
you say any of that to her?
Yes, I'm going to regale her with the story because I'm sure she won't find that mundane.
Okay.
That definitely
does
won't increase our fate even further.
Gonna write a song about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that would qualify as like a consort role? Because
She's gonna give Elisa artist credit.
Well, I certainly think it's worth doing, Ro,
okay,
just for the fun of it. I'm going to expend a bit of willpower to make sure that my story has as much flair and glamour as possible.
nice. Is that for an extra die or for increased effect?
For an extra die.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, I actually only have one die in consort. Not very friendly. That is a 4.
Okay.
Partial success.
She's intrigued. So she's finally like asking questions, and instead of just kind of sitting back and feigning interest, she actually starts to gain a little bit of interest. And asks you if you want to talk about this more over some food. She's surprisingly got an appetite.
I've been smelling those delightful aromas since we got on this boat. I certainly would like to try them myself. So, how can I say no to having good company while I do it?
All right. She asks if there's something specific you want from the kitchen, and she'll send her lackey to go get it.
Centaur tartar.
Centaur.
Might be a bit too cruel for this place. So, horse.
If you make it as a special request.
Yes. A special. Okay. No, that's ridiculous. I feel like that's one way to get kicked off the ship before you even get in there, is to ask to eat a centaur.
I mean, it's not like you're asking for his name or anything before you eat him.
I'm going to, well, you know what? Just regular steak tartare is probably fine.
Okay. All right. As soon as she sends her bodyguard away, she starts to get a little bit more chatty. You can tell if you were a sape, she would be a very bad influence on you. But as you have seen more in the last 6 months than she's ever seen in her life, she's not able to put any dark thoughts in your head.
I can be a bad influence on her.
Exactly.
We are the dark thoughts.
Cal, as soon as his friend comes back from the bathroom, he cashes out and meets with his friend to go eat. You can tell he seems defeated as he leaves the casino.
This he still got his hat.
He still has a hat. It is around that time that you hear faintly some kind of horn from above decks, like some kind of klaxon making noise up there. But it seems as if it's not really supposed to reach down here. You can only hear it in the moments between crowd murmurs.
Well, I definitely want to go see what's going on with that. Is there? I guess I would make my way towards there,
Okay.
towards the sound. 'Cause I'm interested in the weirdness of this place as it is.
Yeah. So you head up to the top deck, and as soon as you sort of crest the surface, an immediate wave of like seasickness kind of washes over you for a split second, as it has felt like when you were under the deck that you weren't really on a boat too much, but as soon as you can see the horizon line, you're like, yep, still on a boat. And you can see another boat off in the distance, and they are flying a pirate flag and trying to catch up to this boat. You hear the klaxons up here much, much louder. And some of the employees are clearing people off the decks. So as soon as you come up, some other people are rushing down into the lower deck.
Okay, and then since I've seen this, everybody else knows this too, below deck, so or in our coven at least. So, so at least there's a heads up, like, hey, we might just be about to be pirated.
Here I was having the best evening I've had in months.
So is it the pirates that we know? Like, do we recognize their flag?
Like once since she relayed it down to everyone else, you're able to recognize it is definitely the Vile Legion.
Okay. So we'll probably be fine.
Going to tell Cookie that things are going to be very interesting, darling. Stick close to us. We're about to get attacked by pirates.
And it is at that time that the first cannonball hits. It hits the upper deck, very near the captain area, and blasts a hole through into one of the back rooms, just behind where all of your quarters are.
Well, I'm gonna try to make it back to where everybody else is, so we can figure out where to go, and then maybe I can be of service in that way.
Right. You hear a couple of beeps over the intercom, and you hear a Hispanic voice. This is your captain speaking. Apparently, we will be boarded shortly by pirates. Please secure your valuables. Do not interact. Any items taken from you will be recovered.
Yeah, I'm like, what do they think they're doing attacking a Fey boat? That seems like a bad idea for them. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, what do they think they're doing attacking a Fey boat?
Doesn't seem like the sort of people you want to be trying to steal from.
Okay.
Which is why we've been on our best behavior.
You have. All right.
I mean, this is actually our best behavior. We haven't set anything on fire.
Nothing is on fire.
Yarrow cut.
No dead have been risen.
Hugging your fey fruits.
I'm just going to have my bartender girl make me another martini.
Okay. Yep. She absolutely follows your orders, exactly as requested. And a second cannonball hits, and then you kind of feel the boat lurch as it comes to a stop. and then you feel it just sort of swaying in the water.
Well, if they
Splashes a
don't-
little bit over the edge. So does Cookie look excited?
Yeah, kind of. You can't tell if it's just being high or if it's the actual excitement or a combination of the two. But yes, she looks very excited. Valentina, however, looks pissed. She kind of looks back at the rest of you, all around the area, and she's like, she points over at Ribert and goes, "You know you're gonna lose that. We're all gonna lose all this." And she just shakes her head and slams her fist down uh, on the blackjack table and storms out into the hallway.
You mean they're gonna fuck up my date?
Cannonballs do tend to do that.
So, you could potentially try to negotiate with the Vile Legion and get them to call off the attack. That could make for an interesting undertaking.
Yeah, I'm gonna beg and plead. Just come back tomorrow.
It's not really the best way to start negotiations.
Maybe Elise will start it, and if it comes to it, you go to.
I'll just cry. But you're ruining my first date. I'll just cry.
All right. Method and detail.
Oh, method and detail. Let's see.
We knew the Vile Legion was going to strike back. We just didn't know who they were going to strike back against. Apparently, they in the floating market have a vendetta.
But why
Yeah,
though?
it does
They
make
should be
more
best
sense than
buddies.
them attacking us.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a social method
Okay.
because we have a connection with them, so that would help us do some negotiations.
Do you guys have a positive faction relationship with them?
Yeah, they have our boat.
I
And
mean,
they're
on the sheet, +1.
let's see.
Faction relationship with them?
Yeah, they have our boat.
I mean, on the sheet, +1.
No, we don't have anything on the sheet.
Okay. But yeah, you do definitely have a connection, especially if the troll is aboard,
Yeah.
because you have history with the troll. I think the troll is marked down as an ally somewhere.
I have no idea.
It's probably on your personal sheet.
Yeah, my personal sheet, everything's kind of messed up still, so.
Yeah. All right.
But yes, I do remember writing that down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my personal sheet, everything's kind of messed up still.
Okay. So we have.
Yeah, I guess I will go peek and see if the troll is out there.
I'm gonna say that they are, so that'll give you +1 die on the engagement roll.
Okay.
So start with 1. You get +1 because you're on a tier 4 ship, and Vile Legion is only tier 2. +1 for the connection to the troll, who's an ally. And I think that's about it. So 3 dice engagement roll. That. Okay. So I think so that means you're going to start the engagement in a risky position. I think what that looks like is to get close enough to really send a message, you're going to have to dodge a cannonball.
A cannonball
So,
to keep my date.
I mean, if
in
anyone can
Hawaii.
dodge a cannonball, it's probably our god.
Yeah, I'm a small target.
mm-hmm.
Can I assist with my greater telekinesis to maybe push it out of the way?
Turn the
Ooh.
bullet.
Yeah, I'm a small target.
Yeah. So what's the idea? Like a group prowl, and yeah, you could do the telekinesis as a if you need to resist, for sure. So you're prepared with your telekinesis, yeah.
I brace myself and just hold out.
So yeah, I will lead a group prowl.
Okay.
Whoever wants to prowl with me.
I think I'm already with you, so I'll join in on that.
They really prowl. Chances are I'd be hanging back with Cookie.
Well,
Assuming
I failed,
Cookie wants
so
to see
hopefully
what's
somebody
happening.
else will do better.
All right. Ooh.
Oh.
Oh no. Well, it looks like
You're all
we
getting
might
hit
need
by
to rely on
cannonballs.
that telekinesis.
That was impressive.
We're still waiting.
I don't think we've ever failed a group action.
I think we're still waiting on Elise's roll.
I'm not prowling.
Oh, you're not prowling?
No.
I'm
Okay,
not
No.
with the group necessarily.
okay, you're staying back, or
Staying back
Okay.
enough, certainly. I mean,
okay,
Elise is in no rush to try to beg the Legion to rush away.
okay,
Especially if she wants to show this celebrity how fun things are.
yeah, okay, all right. So I guess you're hanging back with Cookie.
For the time being. We do have a
Alright.
bond telepathically, so
True. Okay, so Hollis, that's going to cost you 4 willpower,
Oh shit.
and is going to result in the consequences of a risky fail. So, yeah, I think that means that an inadvertent cannonball is headed in your direction. So, if you still want to do that, Yara will try to redirect the cannonball.
I'm doing like a prowess resist.
You can try, but Yara would be doing like action to make it so you don't have to resist.
Okay. So
She's doing a
I'll look at
protect,
it.
which costs 1 willpower, and then did you just? Is that from earlier?
Yeah, that's from earlier.
Okay, and then you would use probably focus.
Yeah, it's greater telekinesis, focus +1 essence.
Okay.
Yo!
Right. That's better. Okay. Darn. 1 more pip higher. If you would have got 2 6s, you could have redirected the cannonball somewhere else. But you at least, what do you want to do? Stop it from hitting any very dangerous places?
Yeah, just push it back into the water, towards the water.
Okay. Yeah, it was gonna hit the captain's area and would have definitely sent a lot of shrapnel in your direction. And so you force it way off course and into the water. And that's enough to get and that's when you were first getting started. So you will still need to make another roll to get closer. However, you'd like to do that.
work? You said to get closer?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to hear anything you would have to say from this distance. They're coming up on the rear of the ship. And it looks like they're lining up to send out another volley of cannonballs.
No, we need a megaphone.
Yeah.
A magical megaphone.
That's more or less what I have planned for that horn that we stole. Well, I stole.
All right, I guess I will flashback to have my broom.
Okay.
I just bring it with me.
What's that?
Since it's been so useful, I'm just carrying it around everywhere.
Your
Okay.
emotional support broom.
So, yeah, let's say as a 0 willpower flashback, you go back to your room and you grab your broom. And so you have it with
Okay.
you now.
I'm going to fly out to meet them.
Okay. What do you want to use for that?
What do you mean?
Action-wise. You're flying up against potential cannonballs, and a lot of wind that's whipping around. I think.
I guess the physical stats would make the most sense.
I think with your broom, you're definitely going to have increased effect because you're going to be able to get there much easier on that broom.
Yeah.
Like target maybe.
Target?
Yeah, to get there, make a safe landing. You're not used to flying on the seas.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
No, but whatever.
So target is like
Yeah, no, I know what target is. It's fine.
Finesse could work as well.
It's the same either way, so it doesn't matter.
Well, it matters because it's fictionally it flavors the.
In theory, Seth and Wallace could try to fly there together.
Yeah, with shape-shifting.
Yeah, I can do that.
I mean, there's multiple ways you could go about it. You could just shapeshift into something small and hop aboard, or you could fly separately and make it a group action.
I'll fly separately, I guess, in case
Yeah.
anything happens with Hollis, and then I can use that as like a recovery action.
Nice.
I think finesse makes more sense than target because I feel like target is more a brain thing, and finesse, I'm having to finesse my physical body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
feel like that makes more sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree.
I got a 1.
That's gonna gain you +1 experience since we're in risky. Who's leading? I assume Seth.
Nobody was leading anything.
Oh, you guys are doing it separately. Okay.
Mhm.
Since we're in risky. Who's leading? I assume.
I'll do a finesse as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, I think what that looks like. Let's see. That was a 1. You kick off with the broom and you leap off the back of the boat, and as soon as you come down on the broom, you say the command word to activate it, and something like sea spray flies out of the water and gets in your mouth, and you aren't able to say the activation word, and the broom starts to plummet toward the water.
Okay.
But Seth is there and can possibly do something. Otherwise, with that roll, Seth could make it successfully all the way to the other boat. So your choice.
Is there a way that I could resist that falling into the ocean?
Absolutely.
Like a prowess resist?
Prowess, yeah, or I think insight even. To have the insight to know how to recover from that quickly.
Yeah, okay. Insight
Okay.
sounds fine. And that is a resistance?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Is insight a bad one?
No,
Oh.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So what does that look like?
I'm going to spit out all of the seawater and get my phrase out and get back on my way.
Okay. Yeah, you like nosedive toward the ocean and you're imagining all these sea creatures that are just waiting for you, licking their lips for you to fall in. And you pull up at the last second just as you see Seth glide past you in a very graceful arc, and the two of you continue flying and make it over to the other boat. You're flying toward one of the cannons, and you lock eyes with the person running the cannon, and they freeze. And you recognize the beady eyes as the troll that you met before. And that's what saves you from getting a cannon blast, is that she recognizes you and starts climbing above deck.
I'm just going to be like, look, I'm on a date. This is the only place that I can have this date. Could you just wait until the next time?
Yeah, so the captain is standing at the wheel, and the troll comes up above deck and waves at you. And the two of you are able to land and try to make your case to.
Like, I'll give you 2 fey fruit right now. Just stop.
She's just like laying out fey fruit
Yeah.
on their deck.
I can't hold this anyway. I'm gonna get in trouble. And if we can cash out our coin, then I won't need to worry about these.
All right. Do you want to sweeten the deal, Seth? Add any fey fruit to that pile?
Yeah. I'll Hollis added 2. I'll add 2.
Okay.
So that still leaves me with 2.
All right. I'm going to say for 4 fey fruit, that's going to give you increased effect. Do you want to do that alone, Hollis? I think that give a +1 die and increased effect.
Okay. Sure. Let's
What?
see. I would probably do a sway.
Okay.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. And maybe Seth holds back their fruit to make that, like, if they look like they're considering it, you put out yours as a bonus. Yeah. Okay. Unless you two want to do a group action, I think that sounds good.
I don't know. I think it'll work this way.
Okay.
I mean, it's Hollis's date, so.
Yeah, she has the most skin in the game.
Mhm.
Although by volume, I think Rupert has the most skin in the game.
Got
All right.
3 servants right now.
So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
Your skin is slightly higher there.
an extra die.
Yeah, 1 die and increased effect.
Come on,
This
dice.
is risky. This is kind of for all the marbles. Oh no. Okay. So the troll turns toward the captain, and the captain is completely stone-faced, and the troll gets down on her knees and is also begging the captain. And they turn toward the troll and say, "The reward is too great to pass up for a couple of measly fey fruits." As a matter of fact, I don't even need a cannoner anymore. As you see, 3 witches step out from behind the captain, out of the captain's room. They are chanting a spell. And she kicks the troll in the shoulder, and the troll falls toward the 2 of you and then gets back to her feet. And it looks like it's the 3 of you against all the rest of them to determine what happens next. So it looks like you got a tag-along troll now. Kind
I
of
want to
part
set
of...
this boat on fire.
Yeah?
Well, I could go wild magic Kraken style. And you could go back to
Ooh.
your date and the troll's safe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm
You're
down for that.
pretty far out in the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably no place safer for that level of wild magic.
True.
Okay,
Are they
so
gonna rat me out? Probably not.
Probably not.
So what's the full intent?
The full intent is to, I guess, immobilize or impede all the people on deck. So the boat physically can't move any further, so the cruise ship can get further away without.
Cruise ship isn't moving, darling. We're waiting for you.
Cruise ship isn't moving? I thought we flew.
No, not currently, but that's okay. They will as soon as you're back aboard.
Okay. Well, either way, it's to immobilize or kind of lock everybody in, like, away from their positions where they could be getting the pirate ship up and going.
So turning into a massive kraken, holding on to the pirate ship, and delivering Hollis and the troll back over to the other boat.
Like a nice little ramp they can take their way back over.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 1 die for that's shape-shifting, so that definitely counts. You're Seth, you are a Nereid, so that absolutely counts since you're doing a very water-based creature. And what's your aspect?
My aspect, my aspect is the tower, and it has an octopus
Awesome.
grabbing onto a lighthouse. So I think that's fitting, considering Kraken grabbing onto a boat.
Awesome. Okay, that's the maximum dice. So you get a 3 dice wild magic roll.
And I only did it 1 time, so how do I type the wild magic again?
It's exclamation point 3 and then wild, WYLD.
Is it case sensitive?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Hang on. That was 3 wild magic complications. Apparently. That's not what we want. Let's see. Let's just do a 3 die action roll.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. So now we want to do exclamation point 1 wild.
I don't think it's applicable, but I have the enigmatic form. Does that count at all for wild magic to resist?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So, sorry, how do I, you want me just to type 1 die fortune roll?
No, that exclamation point 3 wild, just change that to a 1.
Okay.
caster becomes disconnected from their magic until the next undertaking or downtime.
I guess
So-
I'm stuck on the boat.
Yeah. So you suck up all the magic energy around you. It just sucks out of the air and into your body. And you start shape-shifting, and just tentacles start flopping out of your body, and you completely lose control and turn into like an ooze. And you just start oozing across the deck. And Hollis and the troll jump back out of your way, and you just start sort of sliding off the boat into the water.
Oh, turn into silly sand. Have become the mud bath.
And we start at an 8 o'clock for the Red Watch. And you don't have access to your magic. So someone else is gonna you start to reform, but you're in your complete native form. And you're able to hang on to the edge of the boat.
Okay. I'm like,
At
shit,
least
how
we
are
know
we
you can swim.
We're up.
That's true. You can swim very well. And you're able to hang on to the edge of the boat.
I'm like, shit, how are
The troll looks distraught. Like, she's like, I threw in my lot with you two, and what are we gonna do now?
Invoke Tartarus.
All right. Which
Many times.
which underworld element, and where do you want it?
I want the fire.
Okay.
So I realized I didn't take off my willpower essence for the wild magic. How much do I take off
3.
for essence?
Just for essence. And then you add 3 to the Fey bargains and 3 to the Coven's fate. Just for essence. And then you add 3 to the Fey bargains and 3 to the Coven's fate.
So I want to set as much of this boat on fire as I possibly can.
Okay. You can spend up to 5 total essence on that to make it as large as possible.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Max
I'm
it
gonna
out.
spend. Max it out. I've never maxed it out before. I'm very curious.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the water. I can't set anything else on fire, so
True.
yeah, do
We'll
it.
set the troll on fire.
We'll be fine.
We know she can swim as well, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's heavy enough that she sinks, and she can just walk along the bottom. She's a mer troll.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna tell them to get in the water, and yeah, I'm gonna set it on fire.
Okay.
Yarrow puts on her glasses so it looks all colorful and super
Hopefully, I'm gonna set it all on fire. That's a focus roll.
It is.
Can I have a Fey bargain for extra die?
Sure can. Let me give you the Fey bargains.
Can I have a Fey bargain for extra
How to do something just as this is happening, since I know that it's about to happen, assuming it's being telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of feel like I'm going to offend or anger this faction that has our boat. So
That
I feel
makes
like
sense.
that's pretty appropriate.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely going to.
They're
Yeah.
going to be mad.
Understatement
Okay.
of the century.
I got a complete success.
Wow, so close. All right. Okay, you get to describe how this looks. All this fire bubbling up from the underworld.
Okay. So Hollis lands on the deck of the boat and just kind of clenches the broom between her legs, and she rubs her hands together, and she gets a very angry look on her face and starts chanting and gob, and then she puts her hands down on the deck, and the deck automatically Shushugiban turns black and starts the black just spreads out from around her, and at the edges of the boat, when it reaches the hull, starts setting the boat on fire. And the fire just kind of goes all the way around the outside of the boat. And yeah, they have to deal with that. It starts working its way back in towards her. She jumps back on the broom and gets off of the boat.
Okay. The troll dives into the water. Seth, do you let go of the boat?
Yeah, I just let go and
All right.
dive my way in the water, I guess.
Well, the troll immediately starts trying to help you to the other deck, and then finds that you are extremely capable, an extremely capable swimmer. And yeah, I think, unless there's something Yarrow or Elise want to do, I think that is a successful negotiation. Successful.
Got what I wanted.
Social mission.
I wanted to, knowing that this was about to happen, just sort of encourage Cookie to look, and then point my finger at it as if I'm firing a gun, just as it goes up in flames.
Yeah, you know the exact timing because your mind connected with her. All right. Yeah, I think.
I kind of see this as a Hollis temper tantrum. Like,
Yeah.
and they're not listening, and she's got business she wants to do, and they're not listening. So she fire starters it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
It's very rare that Hollis really wants something.
Hollis is just sadly singing on the way back like that. If you leave me now, take the biggest part. Hollis, date night's ruined.
So you watch as a lot of the wait staff and other people who are working on the boat come up to the top of the boat, and they come up to the deck, and they work their way over to the places where cannonballs hit and caused damage to the ship, and they just put their hands on the deck around the damage, and you see their hands and the deck kind of merge together, like they're putting their hands inside the wood, and the dents and stuff start to undeform, and the cannonballs get thrown back out into the water, and the ship basically shapeshifts out of the damage.
Neat.
And as soon as they're finished, the wait staff, though they look exhausted, head back down into the boat to continue doing their jobs.
Wow, that's some weight stuff.
And they do it without a word. They're obviously they might all be mentally connected the way you guys are.
If only Fae were as easy to enthrall as sapes. Get a whole bunch of them to do what we want.
Yeah. Seth, it feels so weird, I'm assuming, to be disconnected from your magic. You're unable to shapeshift. All of your spells won't work.
I guess I can't use telepathy with anybody now, can I?
It's still active. It's not your magic anymore at that point. So yeah, you can still hear it.
I guess I'll ask River to like come down with his little suction hands and help me climb up the side of the boat so I can get back up deck. Have a piggyback ride, please.
Yeah, nice. It only takes about 15 minutes for the ship's damage to heal, and for everything to more or less go back to normal. It's about 1 a.m. now. And you watch as the cruise ship floats off with you on it, as the other pirate ship just burns just as it's leaving your vision, you see the crow's nest fall from the flames that have overtaken it.
Well, I guess that must have been a fun little diversion. I wouldn't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. So you can do it drawing down the moon now that you're back aboard. It'll just be at -1 die.
Are we doing anything with that red watch counter, or because we set the boat on fire, is that just done now?
Until you do the drawing down the moon, yeah, the red watch timer stays active.
Sure, we can do drawing down the moon on the boat.
Cool. Have to be someone other than Seth.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I can do it.
Okay.
Since Self lost their magic to help me.
All right. Esme comes to help.
I mean, she's kind of like an honorary Coven member.
Yeah.
She lives there. Her bones reside in the ground.
This is true. Yeah.
I would like to invite Cookie to watch.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she is your she's like wants to be your roadie now. All right.
Okay.
Show the wild child that you're more wild than they are.
So how do you do it, Hollis?
Definitely out on the deck of the boat. She's gonna grab some table salt and make a big salt circle.
Okay.
And have everybody step into the salt circle, and she's going to squat down in the middle and do the chanting and raise her hands up towards the moon rather than down towards the ground, and ask the moon to rejuvenate everyone's energies. And it's Coven tier, so are we
It's
3?
Coven tier -1, so it's just 1 die this time.
Ooh.
So !1 DDTM.
DDTM. All right, don't suck. Ugh.
I mean, it's kind of expected. You're in a very, very unusual situation. 2 essence and 1 willpower, and it grounds out the wild magic, and Seth is able to regain a connection with their magic.
Yeah.
If that was any other character besides Seth that lost their magic after fell into the ocean, that would have been very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, in fairness, if I fell into the ocean, it would be very bad whether I had my magic or not.
Yeah, you'd have to mind control some fish to help you out.
I would have tried to do some kind of telepathic or telekinetic vacuum cleaner situation. Suck her back up.
Ooh, here's a flashback possibility.
Mm-hmm.
You want to regain those Fey fruits?
Yeah, I'm picking those back up.
Yeah, I don't think you guys actually set them down. You just offered them and they didn't take them, so. That would have stunk. Aside
Me
from
and Esme are taking our dinner to go.
Yeah, so you all become major celebrities on the boat for the rest of the ride. You meet a lot of interesting people, and I think whoever, yeah. So everybody can take 1 new ally. I'll tell you who all the NPCs are and sort of what their deal is. So obviously there was Maggie. She's the ship doctor. She probably wouldn't make a good contact because she
She's on
doesn't.
the boat.
Yeah, she's on the boat, and same with the captain. They're boat people. So you've got Cal, the high roller, Dakota, his lover, Valentina, the hanged woman. Actually, she wouldn't make a good one because as soon as this boat ride ends, she's gonna go back to being dead. Ava Wolf.
Be my friend.
Yeah, she could be your friend. That's true. Good point. There's a school teacher that's been hanging out in the kitchen mostly. Ava Wolf.
Yeah,
There's
we could use a school teacher to help the children.
yeah.
It's true.
There's Katie Cook, otherwise known as Cookie. Her card is the devil.
I imagine Elise would be get quite close with her throughout the rest of the evening.
Yeah. Her bodyguard, Tyler Lindsay, is Temperance. And another person you guys didn't get to meet was Maddox Green, Mad Dog. He's a MMA fighter that's aboard. So
I just want to
everybody.
make friends with the money changer.
Oh, he's one of the ship people.
So can we get them to exchange our coins for Fey fruit and then just deliver them to our coven?
So
We
I
did
think-
save their boat.
yeah, I think with something that big, yeah, that's true. You could, yeah, you're definitely owed a reward for that for sure.
And I'm just asking them to change out what I already have
Yeah.
and deliver it.
So I think the problem is that amount of Fey fruit is well, what did we determine? It's like 16 per platinum coin. So that'd be 32 in total.
They can
Hopefully there
send
was
it to us
something
a little
absurd
bit at a
like that.
time. That's fine. Like a
So-
lottery payout, a little bit
We
at
can
a
take
time.
installments.
Yeah. So there are other things that they could turn them into that might be more useful, like artifacts. So they could turn both of those into a tier 4 artifact of your choice.
Now, indulge me, darling, because I'm unsure what really a tier 4 artifact would likely be with regards to scope.
Yeah. Let's see. So tier 4 would be what Hollis did aboard that ship just now was basically a tier 4 effect. Setting that entire ship ablaze. So being able to do that level of something once per undertaking.
So basically like a wild magic without a wild magic, if you rolled well. Like,
You
or
would
if you spend all your essence, which I basically did.
well, that's the thing, it wouldn't cost any essence either.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it would have to have a set effect. So it would be like let's say a ring that could do that level of devastation once per undertaking. That's a tier 4 effect. And then the more drawbacks it has, the more powerful it can be. So tier 4 is like they only go up to tier 5. So something like the Holy Grail, tier 5 artifact, were it to exist. Immortality, that kind of thing. Tier 5.
Do we have to decide right now if we want the
No,
artifact?
absolutely not.
It's a very big decision.
And basically, that's a tier 4 artifact with no strings attached. If you needed something more powerful, they could attach some strings to it for you. They're good at that.
Yeah.
So that's the main difference between. Normally, when you get things from the Fae, you get a lot of strings attached. This would be a tier 4 artifact, free and clear. So that's the main difference between. Normally, when you get things from the Fae, you get a lot of strings. So we can consider this a negotiation that you can flash back to at a later time when you determine what it is you want. Basically, they owe you a 32 Fae fruit favor. Would be another way of looking at it. They can cash some of that out for sure.
Could we have an artifact that we could kind of pass around between all of us that would reduce the cost of doing wild magic or hide our wild magic a little bit better?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Basically, an artifact can change the rules of the game effectively. So if you had an artifact, normally they are tied to an individual, but that could be one of the benefits that is the reason why it's so high tier.
It could be only for our coven members. So if somebody else took it and tried to use it, it wouldn't work for them.
Because it's particularly tied to
us.
you all.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? You want me to work that up and see how that would work?
Certainly a good idea.
Intriguing.
So I'm thinking
There's
of
some
something
very
like
similar ones, but that one's quite good.
I'm thinking of something like the clock that starts for the red watch. We always add 2 to it. So if it was going to be an 8 clock, now it'd be a 10 clock, which means that it's going to take longer for them to get to you. Another thing would be whenever you roll wild magic complications, you roll 2 and take whichever one of the 2 you prefer instead of just rolling 1 and having to take it. And then let's see, tier 4 for something only your coven can use. I think we could add one more little thing to it.
Maybe reduce the essence cost a little bit.
Yeah. But the first wild magic you do in an undertaking, it absorbs the essence cost, so it's a 0 essence. Magic. 0 essence. +2 red watch clock. 0 essence. And 2 complications. Red watch clock. You get to choose the better of the 2. Yeah, that is definitely something they can build for you and deliver to you at a later date, but not too late. Yeah, that is definitely something they can build for you. So I think you end up asking around. Hello, person. Bye, bye, kitty. You end up asking around for who you need to talk to, and they're like, you need to talk to the captain. The captain's the only person here that has that level of oversight that they can make these kind of decisions and those kind of payouts. And you do you all go together?
Might as well, I suppose.
Okay. You go into the captain's chamber, and he brings out seats for everyone, and he says, is this a little off-putting to you? Do you prefer it the way it was before? How do you feel about this situation? We're trying out a new thing with the whole 70s vibe.
I like the grungy feel of the first one, but that's just me.
All right.
Personally, I feel right at home. I don't really want to leave.
I'm down the middle. I think it should be theme nights.
Ooh, yeah.
Theme
A
nights
different era
night.
every time.
Yeah.
I'm with Seth on this one. I like a different theme every time.
All right. So Hollis, the room turns grungy, dark, dim, just like you remember seeing before, and the captain starts just bulging out in all directions and turns into the butcher that you met before. But for everyone else, he just kind of shivers and goes back about what he was talking about. But yeah, he says that this is within his power, and it is good for you to do this here. However, he is aware of where these platinum tokens came from. They bear an origin mark. He's not worried about Jack Spiderstripe, though, but he is worried about the witch who was powerful enough to rake up 40 fake contracts and, well, 80 in total. 2 40-point fake contracts.
And he's just keeping them.
He was just holding on to them, so he is very worried about whatever witch it is that these belong to. Not belong to. That spawned this level of contract.
Yeah.
So on the behalf of the floating market, he would like for you to find out what's going on with Jack Spiderstripe, or with regards to this, or find out who the witch whose soul is tied to these is.
You mean they don't know? They should be able to just tell, right?
They can, but it'll cost them. It'll put their mark on it.
Well, could Seth potentially tell?
Oh, with psychometry? I think they would only probably see all the things that it's gone through since you stole it.
I think we tried to do that initially too, and it was just going to kind of be surface information. I'd like get a visual of the handoff, but nothing.
Yeah.
Everything's superficial.
They come from the witch, but they're not. It's not like a material component or a material link where they're actually tied together. So
Okay.
Jack definitely knows who they belong to since he collected them.
Well, I imagine asking him directly is not a good idea since we stole them from him.
Yeah. And you know that he was keeping them in a very unusual place. Anyway, that is a mystery for another day.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess
Seems
we
like
could
a
try to figure that out at some point.
But if you do, the floating market will pay you back for your effort. As for a potential future undertaking. And then he tilts his head and says, Nightsky Sanctum? Whatever happened to, and then we'll stop. So we'll end the session there. And
Just as I finally had an idea for an artifact.
oh, go ahead.
Well, seems
All
to
right.
me that we could benefit from something that helps us bind witches.
Oh,
So we could start stealing the power from others to make ourselves mighty.
gotcha. Yeah. Yeah,
That's a thought.
that's the beginnings of creating a new faction of witches. But yeah, that's definitely that is definitely something that witches can do to one another. So that is definitely worth some consideration and some discussion.
If you
We've done
bind
worse
an already
already.
bound witch, like you double bind them.
You can only worsen the binding, so you can only bind them worse than they've already been bound. So there are some witches that have had all their powers removed. You
Yeah.
couldn't do anything else to them.
Yeah.
But the witches that the order binds most often, they only bind like 1 point of their essence. So, depending on how much you bind, is the more power that your coven gains. But it is generally considered naughty for wild witches to do. It's possible that wild witches can't even make use of the power of bound witches, but that's theoretical until you've actually talked to someone who's tried to do it. And yeah. So maybe getting in good with one of the leaders of one of the factions that binds witches to find out how they go about theirs, but that's usually really heavily guarded secrets, let's say.
Yeah.
The Vulture Votary binds witches.
Falcon Morningstar.
Yeah. Vulture Votary, the Scarlet Incarnation, the House of the Ram, they all bind witches in one way or another. It's just their binding ritual is unique to their own coven or their own congregation. They don't even use the term coven. That's reserved for wild witches.
So we
Certainly
could
sounds like that's
theoretically make our own binding ritual
Yeah.
for our own uses, however we want to use it.
Yep.
Potentially.
Yeah, that's a lesser ritual. So you could, if you wanted to learn one, it's a 6 o'clock. And then once you learn it, everybody in your coven gets it.
well, I know what I'm doing with my next downtime.
Yeah, we can
malicious.
discuss the difference between covens and congregations and what congregations usually do with all that power and stuff like that, for sure offline. That stuff's all not in the Quickstart book, of course. It's all in the main book that we're still working on. So
Advanced stuff we're getting into.
yeah, advanced covens and cauldrons. So let's go ahead and have everyone tell the internet where they can find you before we sign off. Let's start with Elise. Sorry, Morningstar.
Bit of both. Well, you can find me at the Scytherian on Facebook and the _ Scytherian on Instagram and Twitter. And if you hunt me down there, you get oh so many opportunities to witness my radiance in all sorts of fabulous ensembles. It's truly worth doing. I do it all the time. I just stare at myself for hours on end.
Excellent. And Lilith?
I don't currently have any platforms up for my editing and freelance work. That's going to happen hopefully soon. But I'm the editor and photographer for the Morningstar content, so if you want to see any of the work that I'm currently doing or have done in the past, you can follow any of the links previously mentioned.
Zaelwyn?
Well, you can find me pretty much anywhere at Azalin. It's my own work. You can find me there. Mainly TikTok's going crazy now. I'm gonna start my live soon, and we have a lot of modeling sets about to come out, so that's gonna be exciting to look forward to. Trying to grow that Twitter as well, so it's just literally same name under everything.
Nice. All right. Anya?
Anya, you can find me on Twitter at Anya T. Moore. You can find me here on Fridays playing Animal Crossing, and that's been super fun. Thanks to everybody who joined me on my first session this last Friday. You can find us at, I guess we have our Discord server. We have a
Yep.
t-shirt shop where you can get super cool t-shirts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's shop.balsamicgames.com. And yeah, these are, I think I actually took them off exclusive. They have the symbol that you see floating around in the middle of your screen on the back, along with the words Nightsky Sanctum. And this is the special Nightsky Sanctum logo. The standard one is reversed. Anya and I are the co-authors of Children of Midnight Coven. The Quickstart is available for free at quickstart.childrenofmidnight.com. And yeah, really excited. We're going to be wrapping up this season at episode 24. And then we will determine what we're going to do. If we're going to take a little break, Anya might be running a different game for us, possibly Vampire the Masquerade. So still looking into how that's going to go. So, but yeah. But I think that's about it. In the credits are links to everybody's online presences, so feel free to watch that. Thank you, Junie. And join us on the Discord. I'll post the link to the Discord again, and we hope to see you there because we all hang out there and chat all the time. So, but otherwise, everyone have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week.